James.
And I'm BJ. Welcome to our evening ritual of taking care of ourselves.
You cued that perfectly, by the way. That pour.
We are feeling under the weather.
A little under the weather, right? Little sniffles, little cold. That happens during the wintertime, right? And we were talking the other day, and we're like, what's perfect for a cold, and what's perfect just during the wintertime is a hot toddy.
The Hot Toddy, also known as the Hot Toddy.
Oh, the Hot Toddy.
Interesting. Or a hot whiskey in Ireland.
Okay.
The Hot Toddy is a go-to home recipe that I know I continually go to when I'm not feeling well, but it is definitely a go-to get you feeling about your wits. Typically, just before you go to bed. It's not really a drink that I think you drink not in bed, but typically you go to bed, and it's because doctors all agree it's vitamin C from the lemon for health.
Okay.
It's honey to soothe.
Soothing and health qualities.
That's right.
Yeah.
And most importantly,
the bourbon, the whiskey.
to numb. And that's true. Go look that up.
So there's many recipes online, from Martha Stewart to Epicurean to, everybody under the sun has their own recipe on how to make a hot toddy. Traditionally, very basic way to do it, and the easiest way: lemon, honey, whiskey, tea. Very straightforward. We're going to stick to the classic original recipe. Some say add a cinnamon stick. Some say, no, I don't. Some say add clove, a clove chunk or piece, whatever those are. And yeah, let's just go to town, right? And get some lemon in there. And then it smells actually really good. I wish I had some more information.
Lemon pips. There's not a lot of information. This is one of those cocktails / remedies that I think is just good old faithful. Everybody knows it. It has been in grandma's cupboard forever.
Yeah. So just, going back to the history, we talked about that it was from India, correct? Maybe I missed that.
Yeah, no, you are right. We did look up some history of the hot toddy.
Yeah.
Good call.
1600s. They said in the 1610s, it was derived from the Hindi word taddy.
Taddy, yeah, hot taddy.
Yeah, which translated into a drink made with fermented palm sap.
Which I think is interesting that you were making. I mean, the drink was obviously liquor that they were making out of palm sap. I can't imagine it tasted very good.
Well, so fast forward to...
we add all this.
Right, and then moving on to 1786, where the word became official, and it was defined as an alcoholic drink made with hot water, spices, and sugar. The British claimed the drink for their own, and it's a common staple in England today. So, the winters are cold and damp, and it became common practice to pour hot water into a glass of scotch, and it wasn't long before the spice trade with India encouraged them to add exotic spices to the mix.
Canela or white cinnamon.
There you go. So there's another version of the hot toddy history that is disputed. And apparently an Irish doctor named Robert Bentley Todd was said to have prescribed it to his patients with a mixture of hot brandy, water, cinnamon, and sugar.
Hence the hot toddy, I guess.
So what it appears to be, though, more than likely, the story is probably a combination of both scenarios, right? Perhaps Dr. Todd learned of the word taddy in India or used it to formulate his own concoction. Regardless, the hot toddy made its way from Britain, eventually over to the United States, across the pond, where it's still enjoyed, in cold winters in a variety of forms. So
just like our little cooking show is going here, I want to bring you up to speed on our little mise en place. What we're doing here tonight is some nice Chinese loose leaf black tea.
Yeah, and you can use any type of tea. We just happen to have some loose leaf tea around here. Yeah. If you have tea packets, go ahead and use Lipton, whatever you want to use, right?
PG tips,
yeah,
maybe.
Exactly. So you're not completely held back by the type of tea. So with a proper steep, with loose leaf tea, you usually have a countdown on how long you steep a tea for. So one thing about tea is that you usually don't steep it for no more than 2 to 3 minutes, because what happens is that tea can actually become bitter. And a lot of people like to just leave a tea packet in their tea, and that is not best practice
Bad
with
call,
drinking
sir.
tea.
Bad call.
So you want to take it out, and you can actually reuse. If we do a new batch, say we really go through these hot toddies, then you can go ahead and make another batch. So I wanted to talk about. I want
to tell them the rest of this recipe.
Oh, please do. Please do.
And
12 ounces of, we're doing 12 ounces of tea, 4 to 4 ounces of bourbon, right? Or 2 and 2.
Well, I did 3 ounces. Do you want to do 4?
No, 3 is good.
And we picked something pretty incredible. We picked an Elijah Craig private barrel. Thanks, Corey's.
Right. So here's the thing. You're mixing the drink, right? So don't go overboard with your bourbon or whiskey perspective. Uncle Punky, Jackie, welcome to the show, guys.
Hey guys, welcome.
Good to see you. So here's the thing, right? Like, don't use a really fancy whiskey. You can be my guest. You want to break out an old rip or something? Go right ahead. But you're gonna lose a lot of the nuances, right? When you're making a mixed hot drink like this, just use a daily drinker. But can I talk about I don't know what you would call this, but like, is it a misnomer about hot toddies?
Tell me.
That if it's because it's a hot beverage, you get drunk faster. Is there anything to that?
That's true.
See, for some reason that sticks with me, and I've heard people always say that.
But remember, it's vitamin C for health, honey to soothe, and liquor to numb. So maybe you just get a little numb action and you drink it faster, drink more of it. Maybe you just go to town. I don't know.
All right. Well, we're gonna look it up. So,
that's hot tea in your crotch.
That's hot tea right on the boys. Thank you.
How you feeling?
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. All right. So here we go. It looks like alcohol increases the reaction of your hypothalamus, making you sweat. So when you drink warm alcohol, apparently that effect increases. So you're more prone to sweating, but you're technically not getting drunk faster. But people associate them sweating and getting physically hot. But that's why you do this, right? Because it's the winter. That's kind of the point, right?
Sweat out whatever.
Yeah, you sweat it out. Exactly.
I want to get us a spoon to really stir up that.
Sure. And probably a towel too, right? Because you made quite the mess. I'm good. So going back, put in the chat if you guys are a hot toddy or mulled cider, mulled wine aficionado. We're pretty new to it here at the Barrel Buddies. So, we're just rolling with the punches here. But I'm kind of looking around here on the interwebs, and everybody pretty much has a consensus that hot booze is going to get you a little bit more blasted faster. But I don't know if there's any say to that. Oh boy. Whoa boy, that's a strong boy. I just took a sip of that. All right, for some reason that makes it very strong. Did you put honey in here?
Yes. You might want to give it a stir.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Look, it's working already. It's starting to get some of that bad stuff out of you.
Oh yeah, the congestion.
Right? It should open you up.
Man, I need some more sweetness to that. Give me some more honey here.
Yeah, 2 tablespoons of honey.
Yeah, so let's talk about your ratios.
Yeah, I did 2 tablespoons of honey, about 3 ounces of the Elijah Craig, and then just filled it up with some nice hot steeped tea.
All right, and we're giving it a stir here, and
And this has always been kind of a go-to for me to feel better. Amanda knows I make it for her all the time.
Beautiful color. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I like a good hot toddy, and I
think
you're going to find that this isn't just good for getting rid of a cold. I think it's good for everything that ails you.
Ooh, okay. Now after I added a bit more of lemon or honey, that's pleasant.
I feel it,
and it's like soothing, and man, I'm already feeling like so much better. David, first of all, welcome to the show. I think it's the first time I've seen you on the
We've
show.
never seen you on the show before. Hi.
Chef John with Food Wishes is like one of my favorite YouTubers,
Wow.
and he does a hot toddy. It's a hot buttered rum. That's another thing. You
Oh.
can do hot toddies, and well, you can use rum or whiskey, but hot buttered rum. I love that idea. We need to do that on the show.
We should do a hot buttered rum show. You know who does a really good hot buttered rum in town here in Vegas? I'm going to call out our
Ooh.
friends over at the Golden Tiki.
They do?
Aloha for the holidays. They do a hot buttered rum.
Really?
It's so good.
Okay, I didn't know that. We need to put that on the list ASAP.
Yeah, I think they use the Trader Vic's hot buttered rum powder mix, and then they add, I think, Diplomatico Reserva.
Okay.
Is the rum. That's the one I always ask for. I like that one. But can you imagine it with Doorleys?
Oh boy, Doorleys.
Right? Doorleys XO.
Uncle Punky says we drank a lot of mulled wine in Europe. Christmas markets.
Yeah, what do they call that? Hold on, I know the name of this. I was going to call it the gulag, but it's got a name. Punky, what's the name of that mold?
Yeah, what's the name,
It's a special
Punky?
drink. It's like glug or glug or something.
Oh yeah, glug. I think. Yeah, well, I don't think it's pronounced
glühwein.
that,
That's
but
what it is.
glühwein.
Glue
Yeah.
or glühwein. Yeah, that's a thing in the Christmas markets of Europe.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, this is already making me feel relaxed. I've been really tight in my chest all day, and just having a nice warm cup and hold my hands, smell the bacon.
That's what I like. Like, there's something about when you have a cough or sniffles or sore throat, and you just drink a warm beverage. It just makes everything better. It just makes you feel better. I already feel better. My sinuses have opened up. I was in a really crummy mood. I almost told BJ we're canceling the show. I don't want to do it tonight. We're both a little under the weather.
I said I don't feel good either. So you know what
Yeah.
we should do tonight? We should do hot toddies.
That's what is it? Wallow in our misery together, and then have a hot toddy, right?
Have a hot toddy. What other ailments or not ailments? Things that make you feel a little better that you use with whiskey or bourbon or even brandy. I know a lot of people use brandy. What other medicinal or feel better, at home remedies are you using your liquor cabinet for? I'd be really curious to know. Leave something in the comments.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at it most commonly, right? I mean, it's really cold symptoms, I think, are the big one, cold and flu. That's really the big one. I'm just went to the interwebs as well, and that's really it, right? I mean,
it's so simple, right? And it's good. I'll tell you why it's so simple. It's hard to beat the thing that works.
Exactly.
And there's no reason to change the thing that works. And so, to me,
tried and true.
In doing some research tonight and preparation for the show, and learn a little bit about it, there wasn't a lot to learn because it is just so simple. And so, to me, that means tried and true as well. So.
I'm going to say this much too. Our color of these glasses matches exactly the recipes we've looked up online.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Cheers. One more cheers to
easy, cloudy.
Cheers to mixing it properly.
Good
you did a great job.
You. So we hope that you learned something about hot toddies. And if you haven't had one or you haven't had one recently, I think that this is going to be good for your Thanksgiving. Instead of offering coffee, you want to offer hot toddies. Dude, it's simple. A lemon is 69 cents. A bottle of Elijah Craig is $29.99, and tea is nothing. So, go out there and bring something different to the dessert table that's going to make people feel good and warm, and fight off some of the bad stuff that's out there right now.
Yeah, and just going through, like, I'm just perusing recipes. They're kind of all over the map, right? Like, I think everybody probably has a recipe that they have either, their family maybe has passed down or their friends share. But most of them are, tea, honey, lemon. They all have commonalities, sort of right? Sugar, there's right? Exactly. And some sort of sugar, usually honey.
Sometimes you do a syrup.
Right.
There's two different ways to make simple syrup.
Do tell, please.
So I was scrolling through some social media today. That's not how I learned this, but it's what brings it up on my mind. I sent you the recipe I learned about making champagne syrup for cocktail syrup. So
yes,
leftover champagne.
Did see that. Yeah.
And so the typical recipe for a simple syrup is a 1-to-1, right? A cup of water to a cup of sugar, and you heat it slowly until it becomes a syrup. You can also make a special cocktail syrup that's a little thicker. And what that is 2 cups of sugar to 1 cup of water. So really, it's 2 parts sugar, 1 part water, and that's going to get you, instead of the very liquidy simple syrup, that's going to get you the actual syrup, the very viscous.
And here's the thing I want to say, right? Like it's also about your personal preference to taste, right? Like as you guys probably saw, I just added a bit more tea to mine. I thought mine might have been a little strong. I'm looking for something a bit more mellow tonight. Cater the recipe to your tastes. Don't feel like you have to stick to some recipe online.
Yeah.
You know, what was it? 2 ounces of bourbon, 4 ounces of tea, a few tablespoons of honey, half a lemon. You're golden.
And really go
Just-
for that lemon.
Yeah, half a lemon at
My
least.
experience, you lemon it up.
The more the lemon, the better is one thing I would highly suggest. I think it adds a good citrus bite to the beverage. That some acidity cuts through the other ingredients and really shines the
Break up
drink.
your congestion too. Like if you've got
Really
stuff
does.
in your throat, all that lemon and the warm tea is going to break all that up and start moving it.
Man, I just sip on one of these in a thermos all day long.
That's
That's a great.
Yeah.
If still under the weather, it's making me feel really good.
Yeah.
Like clearing up the congestion. Sinuses are definitely clear. Shout out to this Hot Toddy.
My
And
sinus is not clear just yet, but
well, maybe you'll get there. You'll get there. So, I want to talk about really quick though, and also don't fret about the brand of bourbon you put into it. Right?
yeah,
I mean, we use Elijah Craig. You can use Scotch if you have some daily drinker. You don't have to be picky. This recipe is very versatile, very flexible.
I put Jamie in this.
You could totally put Jamie. You could totally put Jameson in this. You could totally put. I'm thinking like even a Glenlivet, Glenmorangie, like one of their everyday drinkers, Caribbean cask.
How about a Glen 14?
See, again, I think getting up to the age statements, I want to save that for outside of a mixed drink.
Okay, yeah. Let's
Keep it kind of bottom shelf. Yeah, actually. Here's the thing. There's some bottles that we just need to truck through and power through and get rid of. And I think, and there's no offense to those bottles. It's just, obviously we drink a lot around here and we're hobbyists, enthusiasts, and we go through a lot of bourbon and we end up actually with a lot of like quarter bottles like this. Like I can't tell you that I probably have 30 bottles behind us here that are like that full, half full.
Yeah.
So, a Hot Toddy is a great way to start going through those, because even if you don't like that alcohol straight up front, like maybe, we're not a big fan of the small batch, but we are. You're not a fan of something, use it in a Hot Toddy. It'll change it night and day. Uncle Punky says he needs one now because it was cold here today out there in Lancaster. I hear they have a massive lake effect snow out there. It is insanity what's going through lake effect. So Midwest up through New England. I hear it's going to be brutal the next couple days.
Well, polar vortex, right?
Polar vortex, exactly. I thought you said Polar Express.
There's no polar vortex in this region.
Yeah.
Well, I think that about wraps us up, and we need to get back to taking care of ourselves. So, thanks for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, that was the Hot Toddy show. Do we want to talk a little bit about what we have on deck for the, we have the holiday, we have Thanksgiving around the corner.
No.
All right, keep it on the down low.
Well, hey, here's what I'll tell you. If you like this is one of our worst shows because we are so under the weather.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we both were ready to call it. I think we were I was really like, nope. And then you said Hot Toddy, and I'm like,
you kind of perked up. I was like, yeah, that's good.
Hot
so
Toddy
if you like this, then please give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and
please like and subscribe. It costs you guys nothing to do that, but it helps us immensely.
It sure does. We very much appreciate it. And don't forget to go back and watch maybe an older show. We can't vouch for how good those are either because we're just getting good at this. But we will be back next week. I think we're going to try and do, if we don't get our media kit for the Black Friday release in Bourbon County, then we'll probably just scoop up some older Bourbon counties and talk about why Black Friday is going to be such a big deal.
Yeah. And we might have a special guest of a French press, but that's all I'm going to say.
Oh.
No further comment.
French pressing some bourbon.
I will say you do not want to miss the show next week.
Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can join us. We meet on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. to do this show
Pacific.
live.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen when we're live, like pouring hot water all over James's nutsack.
Wow. Hey, really quick. Uncle Punky says Fireball and hot apple cider is a go-to.
I agree.
Haven't had that.
So that's another
Haven't
one
had that.
Golden Tiki does here, and they do it really well. They do hot balls. Speaking of hot balls, they do hot balls, which is hot spiced apple cider that they just douse in.
Guys, I'm not even going to stand up. My pants, I'm wearing shorts. They're soaked.
Okay.
Really quick. David says, glad you guys did the show. Thank you. Hope you both get feeling better. David, thank you. And I hope you join us on Wednesdays. It's good to see a new face. It's always good to see a new face on the show.
Thanks for being here tonight. For all the others that didn't
cheers
with us tonight, we're just lurkers. We love you.
We appreciate you too.
Yeah.
Please lurk. More lurkers, the better for us. So
don't forget to leave a comment, and I guess that's it. So
that's all we got. So for the Barrel Buddies, I'm James.
And I'm BJ.
We'll see you